Oh, the heater down here. Lame jokes or what? Good morning. Special session, Mayor and City Council meeting, 10 a.m. Wednesday, November 16th, 2022, City Hall Complex. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, will you please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 3, orders. Number 1, consideration and possible action of order 2022-11-073, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales authorizing the city manager to execute a one-time, non-recurring payment to all full-time employees. Motion.
So moving.
Second, discussion. First of all, in discussion, before we vote on this, I just want to correct this for everybody that's listening and for our friends at the International. The International is saying that we're using ARPA funds to pay the employees $500. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's wrong. We're not. Yeah, that's what they're saying, but that is not what we're doing. The money for the $500 is in payroll. We're not even going to have to touch our contingency. So most of that should be paid in through the payroll. Just like last year, we didn't have to dip into the contingency. It's available in the payroll because we have so many positions that aren't filled, and it's just going to be available. If we do have to dip into the contingency, it'd be very minor. The money from the ARPA, there is $160,002 that we didn't get in the when we first did the order, that wasn't calculated into those 4 departments. That counts. Has nothing to do. It's still available. So
Okay.
Yeah, different discussion. But you're correct.
All right.
It's payroll.
So everybody out there and all the employees, the money for your $500 bonus that we've been giving to all the employees since my first administration for the Christmas bonus does not come from the ARPA. All right? No necesitamos tracateras del International to come up with this. There's only one tracatera, and that's in the airways. We don't need another one with ink. So don't start coming up with these stories. All right? Find out exactly where the money comes from and what we're doing with it before you come up with these stories. So I hope the International and Manny Coppola decides to correct this. All right? With that, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Number 2, consideration possible action of order 2022-11-074, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, allocating the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, funds in the amount of $3,357,002.
So moving.
Discussion. Go ahead, Councilman.
I did some research and research what we can use these funds for, and I'm sure you're all aware of. Support public health expenditures, address negative economic impacts caused by the pandemic, replace lost public sector revenue, provide premium pay for essential workers, invest in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. I think that's very important. Also, the last two council meetings, our tax revenue has decreased and we have not met projections. So that leads me to tell, we're not hurting now, but a year from now or 2 years from now, we're not gonna have that revenue and we're gonna be in crisis. So we gotta use our money to shore up our infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
So I came up with an idea and restructuring from what was already proposed. I would say if we would allocate Parks and Recs 650,000 instead of the 624,250, 700,000 for the police department, 500,000 for street, 500,000 for water, 500,000 for sewer, and we would have 150,000 for fire. I would also allocate $357,002 to the planning and zoning department to implement an incentivized program for keeping and acquiring new businesses in Nogales with direct staff to work on a way of using those incentives without small business loans, because we don't want to be funding department, because first of all, we don't have the personnel, but if we use it to offset some of the costs which were provided to me by staff, license fees, connection fees, they'll range anywhere from $4,000 to $25,000, depending on the business, some more, some less. So with that in mind, I move to amend the order to include these numbers.
Yeah,
So I make a
well,
motion for that.
basically, you do understand that we do have a waiver and incentive program that we created about 2 years ago.
Correct, and this will
Yes.
shore that up, and I
Okay.
think it'll keep it going.
Okay. All right, so how do we go about it, Mr. Machado, to amend it
Motion
and
to amend.
to amend what we have already on the,
There's an emotion to amend on the floor. If it gets a second, then you vote on the amendment.
okay.
Second.
You have a second? All right. Okay, then I call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay.
Okay, can I get those numbers specific again?
I'll get with you.
Okay, thank you.
That'll total the amount?
Three.
Councilman?
357.002.
So the only thing different is the money for the fire department, basically.
The allocation, correct.
Okay, so the fire department wasn't added to the original, Mr. Dickey, I believe. And, you understand, is, planning and zoning here? Yeah. Did you hear that, Mr., on the incentives? Okay, Mr. Butter. All right. Okay, motion to adjourn. Well,
First of all, you haven't voted, the amendment passed. Okay? Now clarify exactly what the amendment does to the motion. I would suggest going over the figures.
Okay, go ahead, do it
And
again.
then once you're clear on that, then you have to vote on the motion itself.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay, A, Parks and Recs from 624,250 to 650,000. B, Police Department stays the same at 700,000. Street Department, instead of 624,250, it goes down to 500,000. Water Department, D, instead of 624,250, goes down to 500,000. Sewer Department, also the same, goes down to 500,000. 357,002 to planning and zoning for the incentive program, which leaves us $150,000, which should go to fire. Total 3.357002.
You know, I would suggest that you vote again on the amendment now that you have the figures in front of you.
Okay. Make a
So
motion.
move.
Do we vote?
The vote.
Just a vote.
Just a-
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now you
Opposed?
vote on, that's the motion now is as amended. Now you vote on the motion itself
Okay,
with those figures.
okay. Good. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Machado, there's no discussion on the discussion? Yeah,
I thought you had.
yeah,
I asked this for discussion. Go ahead, have discussion. We voted
Yeah.
already anyway.
but I like discussion. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I would like to table this so that we can discuss it thoroughly. I agree and I appreciate Councilmember Gradilla's discussion. I really do. It's thought out. And, but I would like, again, a survey to go out to the community and have their input. I think it's important to hear from the community. And again, I ask you to table it so that we can, it doesn't take time. We still have a lot of time to use these funds. And if we could do this collectively with the input of the community, I would appreciate that.
Is that in the form of a motion to table?
Yes.
That would take precedence before the vote. So if there's a second to the motion to table, then you vote on the motion to table.
Second.
Okay, so now we vote on whether or not to table the issue.
Okay. We're going to vote on this, and it's going to be a roll call vote. Letty, you start with me. Nay.
No.
Nay. Nay.
Nay.
So the motion to table fails. If there's no further discussion, then you vote on the motion again.
Again, Mr. Machado?
Just to clarify, yeah.
Oh, just to clarify, okay. All in favor signify a vote on the first, second, and third motion that Mr. Machado gave us.
No. On the amended motion,
You keep on?
on the figures that Councilman Gradius gave.
Okay.
That was the motion that's.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Is that it, Mr. Machado?
That's it.
Can we adjourn?
You can adjourn.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Means adjourned.
Good job, Tavo.
We reported the second item on the agenda.